hello, and good morning. What's up, everybody? Missed you guys on Friday and over the weekend. Hez Arcade, thanks for subscribing over on Twitch, by the way. Thank you, man. What is up, everybody? Big news to go over today. It's gonna be good. Look, we're gonna try a little thing. We're gonna try a thing. Okay. Number one, we're gonna complain about Twitter and talk about Twitter. God damn it, Twitter! Number two, we're going to talk about Joker 2. This failure, honestly, man. You know how people say, like, this failure, this fall off needs to be studied. No, this one actually does need to be studied. Like, we're gonna have to study this. This is crazy. So we gotta talk about Joker 2. And then I want to have a discussion about the spoilers for Captain America Brave New World. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. What I would like to do is have a non-spoiler conversation. Basically a conversation where we don't spoil exact plot details and like go over all of the plot leaks. I'd like to have a non-spoiler discussion about the spoilers. And I don't know, have we ever tried that? I don't know if we've ever tried that. Seems kind of like a crazy bold move. So, yeah, we'll give it a shot. How are you guys though, man? How was your weekend? What's going on? Let me pop the chat out so I can see you guys. I don't even have chat pulled up. Sorry, YouTube. Oh, thanks, Rossi. My favorite X-Men. How interesting of a question to ask. Let's see here. Kyber says, I missed you, Master Josh. Hey, appreciate you, brother. Rossi says, morning, Josh. I just wanted to know who your favorite X-Men is. Oh, we're doing that right away. Kyber Sid, thanks for gifting a membership. Appreciate you guys. How was the weekend, man? How you guys doing? How are things? And can I ask you something too? Did anything like happen this weekend? Did I watch the game last night? No, actually, I didn't watch the game last night. And I will tell you why, Born. The UFC? Yeah, UFC was cool. Thanks, Rossi. I did watch New Bleach. Ooh. New Bleach. Now, that's cool. How you feeling about the Penguin Meow, Josh? Well, I haven't actually watched the third episode, right? Third episode's out? Haven't watched it. Chama. I know, right? I know. All right, so first thing is the reason I didn't watch the game last night is because I was playing Throne and Liberty. I know. Throne and Liberty. But it's kind of nice, dude. Like, it's honestly kind of fun. And if any Nerd Vengers end up getting on Throne and Liberty, let me know. My server is Helpy. That's the server I'm on. Helpy. So let me know if you get on there. If anybody's degenning that game, hit me up. Yeah, it was fun. It's fun. I'm going to probably play some tonight, too. Nolan says, watched the balloon this weekend here in Albuquerque at the biggest balloon festival in the world. Hashtag Unity. Wait a minute. Watch the balloon this weekend here in Albuquerque at 3 biggest balloon fiesta in the world. What does that mean, dude? Like, are you talking about like hot air balloons where you all get in hot air balloons and go around? Or is it just like the biggest balloons in the world? Hot air balloons. Okay. Okay, cool. You got banned? Yeah. So I got banned on Twitter. Should we get into this first? Am I ready for Sparking Zero? Man. The ADD is strong this morning. The ADD... Yeah. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about Sparking Zero. Just briefly, and then I want to talk about Twitter. Sparking Zero seems awesome. I am really excited for it. And I know that its early release is tonight, but I don't think I can justify paying the extra monies to play this game early. By the way, no shade if you are going to buy early access. Totally get it. A lot of people have been waiting a long time for this game. And so if you're really into the game, you're really into Dragon Ball, maybe you were really into Tenkaichi, and you're really excited for it, that's great. I don't think I can do it, man. The game's already $70. I think it's an extra $30, so it's a $100 game if you want to play tonight. And then it's like a 110 version of it as well. So yeah, I don't know. I'll probably wait. I'll wait for Thursday. And honestly, I'm playing Space Marine 2 right now, and I'm trying to play more Snap because the Agent Venom card is actually really cool. And then with Throne and Liberty, which is a free-to-play game, which I will be spending money on because it's kind of like pay to win or whatever. But yeah, I'm actually more excited to get into that and play than I even am for Sparking Zero, which I know is crazy because I am excited for Sparking Zero. But I'll wait for Thursday, and depending on what happens, I might even wait a little longer. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, let's talk about Twitter, man. We all zoomed in on the sleeping puppy. Yeah, he's just chilling. He's chilling back there. He was, ever since we put the couch in here, they like to come in here more and chill, which is fine. I hope you guys don't mind. I thought it was kind of fun. I had him in the last video we did. And it was kind of funny just having him back there. So we'll let him chill. Okay, let's talk about Twitter. So I am suspended on Twitter, and that's permanent. So I believe, although I'm not 100% certain, I believe that it was because of the stream that we did Thursday night where we were watching, yeah, I believe it was because of that stream where we were watching Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm going to try to adjust something here. Oh, no, shouldn't do it. I was cleaning in the office and I kind of screwed some stuff up. Maybe up a little bit there. We'll figure it out later. Yeah, so I believe it was from that, but I can't even be 100% sure. I know, right? But here's the thing. They say counterfeit. Like all of the emails that I got, which is not a lot of emails, said that I broke X's rules about counterfeit. What the fuck does that mean? Like counterfeit. Yeah, so that's what they're telling me. I assume it's connected to the stream, and I also assume it's connected to somebody reporting the stream. Okay, because we've streamed many a thing on X. I mean, we literally watched like all of Ahsoka. We've been watching a whole bunch of stuff on X, and so yeah, I don't know. I think somebody like reported it or whatever, and yeah, it was probably Jessica. And we got suspended. Now, here's the thing that's weird about this. Every other video platform that I'm on has a system built in place that I think is pretty, well, they're unique. So YouTube's is archaic, but it's meant to protect YouTube, not really you as the creator. But having said that, they at least have a strike system, a warning system, a flag system, a system where you can see what's going on, get in touch with people. And ultimately, a lot of copyright issues on YouTube get worked out because you appeal and basically you have to explain that what you're doing is protected by fair use most of the time. And if a company wants to be a real asshole about it, there's not much you can do. And that sucks. That's a part of YouTube's system. That sucks. Twitch, it's basically like the Wild West, unless you're a massive streamer or, you know, for whatever reason, your VOD is getting a ton of views, which would basically never happen on the Twitch platform. They don't really have an active policing of copywritten stuff. You can be issued a strike by a company, and then still it goes through a strike system and all of that, okay? So I have never encountered in my fucking life a platform that has a one strike policy on basically anything. I mean, I'm sure there's things you could do that would be so egregious that you would get, you know, banned or, you know, taken off of a platform immediately. I'm sure that there are things like that, but that's not anywhere near what we did. And we got banned permanently. And literally a minute before the stream went live, I'm sitting there. I'm sitting here. I got my notes. I got my coffee. I'm like, you know, ready for the stream and everything. About a minute before the stream, I get an email back from Twitter that basically just says you're banned permanently and we're not going to reverse this decision. So this leaves us with a couple options. Now, I'll tell you, frankly, how I'm feeling about this. Honestly, man, like, I'm conflicted because I really like Twitter. Like, I liked getting on there and shit posting. I liked having discourse with like Paul or Rob, you know what I mean? And do all that. Just make a new account. But here's the thing. I don't think I'm going to make a new account. Okay. Now, I know that's crazy, but just walk with me on this because here's what I'm thinking. Okay. I actually think that this is a blessing in disguise. Okay. And again, dude, trust me, like, I was like itching. Do you want to know how you know that you're like addicted to Twitter and you're like addicted to like social media and all that? Like when you get banned and then you're like just like checking it again and you're like, oh man, I really wish I could fucking, you know what I mean? And you just can't interact at all. So what started out with me being like, oh fuck, dude, like I miss Twitter and I miss like being on it, kind of turned into, dude, it's kind of fucked up that I miss it so much. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, nobody should care this much about a platform or, you know, being on there and like all that, right? So that's part of it. But also, like, I don't think I need Twitter. Okay? And just walk with me on this because look, could I make another account? Sure. And like, you know, build it up and like do all that sort of stuff again. But I gotta be honest with you guys. The more I thought about this, the more I was like, I definitely don't need this platform. And in fact, you could make an argument that time spent on this platform and engaging on that platform is literally like counterproductive. Because a couple of different things I was thinking about. I started to think, like, because one of the things that I kind of miss, right, is like if news pops off, if some Marvel news or DC news pops off on Twitter, and then like I can get in on the conversation, right? And I'm a recognizable name, and then you get in on the conversation. And that's cool. But I started to think like there's literally fucking no gain for that whatsoever other than like clout. Right? No gain. But YouTube itself is starting to build systems and tweak things so that there's like more of a push for written like almost like a Twitter thing within YouTube that they're trying to do. They're trying to also build like a Discord thing within there also. And then also the other thing I thought about was I was like, man, what if instead of being on Twitter and, you know, being like active within a conversation, what if I just like posted a short or posted some shit to like Instagram or something? You know what I mean? And I was like, you know, that desire to be a part of the conversation is probably good, but Twitter itself, I just don't know that that's the place for it. Do you know what I mean? The other thing that I was thinking about, and this is something like I've heard other people say this, right? And I don't know. I'm kind of like trying to assess how I feel about it. But there are like really successful people that say nothing but bad has come from Twitter. And I could see that for certain people, of course. Even if you think about me, what has happened on Twitter that I've been a part of that's been positive for me? You know what I mean? Think about it. Do you know what I mean? And also, I can still I can still look at everything that's on Twitter. So I can still have access to all the information, all the people, all the posts. I can still see the conversation and aggregate stuff that's happening off of it. But I don't know that it actually benefits me to be on the actual app. Do you know what I mean? So what if it's branding? How so? Look, if you guys could make if somebody could make an actual case for me, like, getting back on there or building another account or whatever, like, I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts. You're branding yourself and your personality on Twitter. To a degree, for sure. Do we really think that what I'm doing is actually building the brand, though? Is it a permaban? Yeah, it's a permaban. It's a first offense permaban. No, Leia. No, you're not allowed. In fact, you're too rambunctious. You got to go in the kennel. Yeah. Kaiju says, will Sidewinder have a suit like his comics, or Seth Rollins' Cobra was cut from the film? No, I think he's still in there. I think Seth Rollins is still in the movie. Not 100% sure, though. Oh, shit. Well, it was never a Den account. It was always a Josh account. Huh? What you mean? Yeah, I tend to agree, Dark Angel. I actually really have come to believe that it's a blessing in disguise. Oh, sweetie, you can't come up here and ruin the stream. We're trying to talk about news and stuff. Yeah? You got something you want to say to everybody? Do you think I should get on Twitter again? She doesn't think so. She's like, fuck Elon. All right, 8. That's enough. That's enough. Yeah, Norin Red. That's actually one of the people I was thinking about was Sam Harris. Like, Sam Harris had this whole take on it. And, like, can I ask you something else, too? Have you ever had the experience where you're talking about somebody and then you bring up them on social media and then somebody says, oh, they're not on Twitter? Have you ever had that conversation? Because I recently had that conversation. I was actually talking to my manager about a particular individual. And I was like, yeah, I don't even know this, that, second, and the third. And they might even have me blocked on Twitter. And then the person was like, oh, they're not even on Twitter. They've been off of it for a while. And there was like this moment where I was like, that's so smart. Like, that's smart. That's actually probably smart. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, I think I'm done with Twitter, bro. I've been kind of forced off of it. Like, I probably would have just continued to use it as is. But now I'm off of it and I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's gonna be fine. I think it's gonna be fine. They gave you an intervention you didn't even know you needed. Yeah, I think that's literally what happened. Well, like, things happen, things ebb and flow, and I think ultimately maybe the biggest factor in what happens to a person is like how they react to things that happen to them. And yeah, I don't know, man. It's like, it honestly feels like, and it feels like I have an out too, because this is what's really interesting about the account. The account still exists. I still exist. And like, if people were to go, they'd be like, oh shit, he's been suspended on Twitter. And like, even that is still a thing. You know? And I still am there and exist. And in fact, I would argue existing as a suspended account has some benefits. Yeah. I don't know. Basically, chat, it's a whole new era. And I'm not on Twitter. I'm never going to be on Twitter again. But I might become more active on other social media, but mostly just the channels. You know what I mean? The YouTube channels. So that's probably where I'm going to do the majority of my stuff. And I'll probably be more active on the Discord. But like, dude, I'm telling you, I think it's a benefit. It's a blessing in disguise. Probably only trouble would come from that app. And to be honest with you, probably only trouble has already come from that app. You know what I mean? So I think we're good. Give it 3 months tops. I don't know, man. Diamond G says, no Twitter. You're just going to have to light us up live, bro. Well, that's another thing, right? Now you got to come to the tower. Hey, stop. Yeah. Now you got to come to the tower. If you want to see Papa Josh, you can't find me on Twitter anymore. You got to roll up to the tower, baby. Callisto says, my friend was brand new to X 5 weeks and was banned for trying to evade suspension by creating a new account. He was so new, we had to tell him how to use it. I would be weary of making a new account. Yeah, no, I have no desire to make another account. Like, I legit think this is probably for the best. This is probably for the best. It's weird how it happened, though. Chillin says, bro, I have a big theory about King in Black. I sent it to you on Discord. I'll DM. I'll just say, I think it's way bigger than we think. Check it out. Nerd Vengeance for Life, take my money. You know what's interesting about that, Chillin? I want to do a video on some stuff that Alex Perez has been teasing on Twitter. And I also think the King in Black stuff is actually a pretty big deal. And this is actually the perfect opportunity to say that this month we're going to be deep diving on Null. Fuck yeah, let's go. Let's deep dive on Null, baby. King in Black, all of that. The stuff they did with Carnage, all the new Venom stuff. The King in Black, baby. This Wednesday, 7:30, we will begin our deep dive on that character, okay? As always, I like to sort of start these things by trying to find out what the creator has said. So it was Stegman and not Karen Gillan, right? It was the car accident guy. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah. So we're gonna try to find interviews and talk of them and their motivation for creating the character. Where does this character fit into the Marvel mythos? And then we'll start breaking down the actual comic book story, right? Because this begins in the Venom story, builds up to the crazy King in Black story, and it's still going. They are literally doing right now a Venom War event, which still ties into all that sort of stuff. So that's going to be really cool. That's going to be sick. Paul Walker, exactly. Paul Walker created Null the Symbiote God, 100%. Thanks, Chillin. Michael Phantom says Joker 2 was mid, not top 5 worst movies of the year, but nowhere near top 10 best movies. I give it a C grade. Ooh, a C grade. That's actually generous from what I've seen. And by the way, can't wait to get into it. When we do the nerdy news rundown, we're going to be, I got 2 pages. I got 2 pages of notes for Joker 2. Can't wait to get into it. But yeah, that's generous. A C. That's generous. By the way, chat, how many of you actually went out and saw Joker this weekend? Put a 1 into the chat if you have. C-Dub says, when I quit Facebook, Graham, and Twitter 5 years ago, my life has dramatically changed for the better. I'm a better dad, husband, and friend. I'm not anxious anymore when I see red circles on my apps. Yeah, well, you know what's crazy about that? Twitter was the only real social media that I actively used. And for a long time, I was very inactive on all my social media. If you look at my Instagram, it's not really active. My Facebook, I use Facebook because I talk to some people that like some of the comic book people that I work with, actually use Facebook. It's very popular in other countries. So if you work with people in other countries, it's a good way to connect. But I'm not like actively posting on it. There was a documentary that came out during the pandemic called, man, I want to say it was The Social Problem or The Social Network or something like that. And that was really eye-opening to me. I don't have notifications on my phone. So you know how like Rob will sometimes come in to chat and be like, you don't fucking text me back or you didn't call me back, whatever. That's because I don't have notifications. Nothing hits my home screen from any app. If I want to check my text, if I want to see who called, if I want to see, I have to actually go into the app, right? So I made a lot of conscious decisions years ago to sort of protect myself and isolate myself from what I really think is a race to the bottom of the brainstem. And like, you might think that this is just like a tab of glass and some tech on the other side. But I think the truth is, behind this slab of glass is actually some of the most clever and intelligent people in the history of our species, all working together to hack your attention. 100%. Like, I'm talking about how they have people that have designed a bunch of the gambling machines that go in all the casinos. Those same engineers that figure out how to tap into different human triggers are designing all the content behind this glass slab that hijacks your brain, hijacks your attention. Now, I am in the attention economy. A lot of what I do is literally getting attention. And so I understand how it all works, but I think the phone specifically, the thing that people are missing is sort of that element, that it is designed to hack into your actual limbic system and get actual triggers that are like millions of years old in our, collective consciousness and DNA to like pop off so that you can, I don't know, you know what I mean? It's so crazy. So I was already sort of in a headspace of protecting myself. Twitter, though, and this was actually before Elon, Twitter just was like really easy. So it was easy, but over the years, that became addictive. And even though there's no like notifications on my phone and everything, I'd still go to Twitter like all the time. So there is like a detoxing that I'm kind of going through with it. But again, I actually think it's going to be good. And it's not for everybody. Like, if you like social media, that's cool, man. That's fine. I like video games. Like, it's fine. But yeah, honestly, I'm probably chill. It's probably good for me. Probably good for me. Josh, are you addicted to living in a society? 100%. I use Feedly a lot more now. What the hell is Feedly? What the hell's a Feedly? Feedly deedly doo. The Joker performed like poo. Just here for the leaks. Okay, Brandon. Shit. Brandon over here is like, shut up and dribble, Josh. I don't want to hear about your goddamn Twitter fucking suspension. Who gives a shit? Just put the fries in the bag. Fuck. Okay, fine. By the way, side note. I think one of the things that could be interesting about having Luke on the couch is like his reactions to when I actually rage and crash out. So that could be kind of cool. Just to see how he does. Because, like, dude, during the video, I started, like, getting all hyped up. And he was like, ah, ah. You know, give me a look like that. Yeah. Okay, should we shut up and dribble? Should we get into this chat? Are you guys ready to talk Joker? And are you ready to talk in a non-spoiler way about the spoilers for Captain America, Brave New World? Are you ready? Dr. Cool says, Twitter said they'd rather share videos of butt stuff over Josh's opinions. Yeah, that's kind of facts. And I will, can I say just one more thing about Twitter? Can I say one more fucking thing about Twitter? I mean, fuck it. At this point, we're perma-banned, so it's fuck Elon Musk all goddamn day. Fuck this motherfucker. Let me tell you something. There's nothing more infuriating than being forced to look at Elon's tweets because I muted this motherfucker. I might have even blocked this dude. This dude's just annoying. I'm sorry. Like, bastion of free speech motherfucker over here. One strike policy on somebody. And you know what else? Oh, you motherfucker. You're getting me all fired up. Here's the other thing. Everybody's like, oh, Elon Musk fired 80% of Twitter and it's working just fine. No, it's not. It's a dog shit website. All the video looks like dog shit. The support that you have as a creator on there is dog shit. It's ass. Twitter is ass. And here's the other thing. I either blocked or muted Elon, and that feature is removed when you're suspended. So now when I pull up Twitter, all I see is this South African billionaire just flooding my timeline with like a bunch of bullshit. And look, you know what? In some ways, I do respect Elon, and I think that Elon is putting his balls on the line in some ways because he either really believes what he's saying or is committed to the act, and so he is all over this fucking trying to, you know, go MAGA and get Trump elected and all that sort of stuff. And honestly, he's free to do that and free to push whatever agenda that he wants. But I think he's annoying. That's it. I think he's cringe and annoying. And so it's so frustrating, like going to the app where you're suspended and watching this motherfucker blabber about free speech and how open and fair Twitter is as a platform, as I'm being forced to watch his dumbass from the platform he bought and then fired like 70 to 80% of the workers. So I can't even actually talk to a human being about my situation on Twitter. Fuck that guy. What a dingus. And you know what? The Steelers probably lost last night because he's rolling around goddamn terrible too. Anyway. So, moving on to what we actually do and what we actually want to talk about. Yeah. Twitter's great. It's a great place. It's a free platform, free speech. Super important that you have porn on every single post. Anyway, this is supposed to be my escape from the Steelers. They still look good, though. They still look good. Dak Prescott, too. First quarterback in history to throw 2 interceptions in the same game that took place on 2 different days. He threw an interception 2 separate days, same game. That's impressive. And yet somehow the Steelers still lost. So that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. All right. Should we get into the news? What do you think, Luke? You ready to talk Joker too? You ready? You gonna help out? What do you think about Elon? Okay, not much help, that guy. All right, guys, let's get into it. Let us discuss the news. And today, we will be studying the fall off of the Joker franchise. The Joker 2, maybe the most disappointing comic book movie ever for fans and probably for Hollywood as well. I don't know that it'll be the biggest bomb ever, but it is a bomb that I think needs study. Talked about this earlier, but a lot of people say stuff like, the fall off of this thing needs to be studied. Well, when it comes to the Joker 2, that is literally the case. This shit needs to be studied. It's absurd. If you think you know how bad it is, I challenge that belief. I don't think you do realize how bad it is, and I want to bring up several different things that will explain just how bad it is. I also want to discuss new plot leaks for Captain America Brave New World. But here's the thing. We're going to try to talk about these leaks without going into the full-ass spoilers. So if you are a person that doesn't want spoiled for the movie, you're going to be okay here. You can still check this out, because what I want to talk about is the fact that the person that leaked this plot is an asshole and clearly has a bias. And so I want to kind of try to sort through it, because I've never seen a leak this negative about a Marvel movie like this. I'll explain the situation, and then I want to bring in some context and talk about how there are things within the league that I actually think are still pretty fucking good. And then I want to finish off today's nerdy news rundown by talking about Halo. Halo just went through a massive rebranding, kind of weird, like in the middle of a Sunday, but it is worth talking about. I do love Halo, and there's a lot of interesting things to get into here because it's clear they're taking the franchise in a new direction, and I think there's hope for better Halo games moving forward, but also potentially Halo projects, right? A Halo television show, maybe Halo movies, really interesting stuff. So I want to get into that as well. And now let's do it. This is the nerdy news rundown. It's like the news, but for nerds. Hey, did that work? Did it work this time? Did it work? We're still gonna have to work on that. Okay, so let's begin with the Joker 2. I think the best thing that we can say about Joker is that it was still a billion-dollar franchise, but that kind of makes the fall off even worse. So I think to fully explain what's going on with Joker 2, we need to go back to Joker 1. Joker 1, phenomenon. That's not a word that gets thrown around a lot in Hollywood. This was truly a phenomenon. A movie with a $50 million budget that made over $1 billion. An absolute absurd success. And its sequel just underperformed. And I think the official numbers are going to come in at some point today. It was originally said to be 39 million over the weekend. And then the studios went to the trades and basically had them walk that back and say that it was 40 million. But either way, it's something like 60% down from the opening of the first film. And potentially one of the biggest box office bombs in the history of Hollywood. Now, I don't think it will end up being as bad as the Marvels, just on like raw numbers. The Marvels, by the way, apparently the biggest bomb in the history of Hollywood. So that's crazy, right? And we could get into that. But I would argue that the Joker 2 is more disappointing than the Marvels. The thing that's weird about the Marvels is like nobody really cared. Now, sure, there are maybe a couple of thousand people on Twitter that got very vocal about it and made a big stink of it. But I don't think a lot of people were actually expecting the Marvels to be epic, to be this massive success. And I also don't think people like the character of Carol Danvers or the first Captain Marvel movie anywhere near the way people responded and reacted to the first Joker film. The Marvels is a sequel to a movie that came out between some of the biggest films that ever happened, right? Between Infinity War and Endgame, much like we're talking about the Battle World movies, and I think all of the Battle World movies will get a pretty big boost just by virtue of coming out between Doomsday and Secret Wars. I think that movie, Captain Marvel, got a huge boost because it came out between those two big movies. And a lot of people were like, wow, we got to go see Captain Marvel because it potentially could set something up for Infinity War, or rather for Endgame at that point. And so the first Captain Marvel movie was not even really thought of as a really good movie by its fans. But it did make $1 billion. So ironically, if you look at the first Captain Marvel, you've got a movie that actually did set off a lot of culture war conversations. And of course, we had people make like 400 Brie Larson videos. So Brie Larson was literally targeted by a bunch of like farming and content and, you know, big narrative going on online. And yet the movie itself still did over $1 billion. Okay. And when it came to the sequel, I don't think people expected much. And one of the things that Marvel has going on that sort of insulates it in some ways is that if it's not X-Men, Spider-Man, maybe Fantastic Four, although I think the jury's still out on that, you know, one of the big franchises or characters, I think failure is just more palatable, right? So it doesn't really matter that the Marvels failed because like less than a year later, you have Deadpool and Wolverine cracking into like the top 10 grossing movies of all time, breaking all sorts of records, and it's this big fucking massive success. So the audience there is really able to differentiate between stuff that's like lesser and then stuff that's, you know, the core meal of that franchise. The thing that's wild about Joker is that the first movie became a cultural phenomenon. How many of you guys remember what the environment was like when the first Joker film came out? Do you guys remember all of the warnings of potential violence? Do you guys remember maybe police officers being around when that movie was coming out? I don't know if you remember that exactly, but that was a part of the sort of cultural movement that pushed Joker to becoming this billion-dollar thing. Now, what's weird about that is I think that kind of happens on accident. Number one, I think the Joker is that character. The Joker is a fascinating character in like the pantheon of pop culture, but also pop culture villains. Because like one thing that I always think is like, why do people fuck with the Joker so much? Like, why do they love the Joker so much? And I think part of it's like we all have neurotic aspects of our personality. We're all a little bit fucked up. We're all a little bit crazy. Okay. And also society, the aforementioned society that we discuss on this channel as well, kind of sucks and kind of drives us crazy, right? So there's all these like little things that drive people crazy. And you can go kind of two ways with this. You can go sort of the like Larry David way where you're a dick about it, but it's all kind of light and funny and you're just like, damn, life is really crazy. Or you can go the Joker way and be like, yeah, maybe I'll burn this motherfucker down, right? And I think that's part of why people respond to the Joker. And so the first Joker movie came out and it seemed like the media was kind of against it. It seemed like there were maybe some groups of people that were kind of against it. And against all the odds, this weird Elseworld take on Joker ends up resonating with mass audiences. Now, this is something that's actually really important to understand. Although the appeal of Joker is big, a lot of people thought that movie was going to end up being niche. But it ended up getting 4-quadrant mass appeal support. We know this because it made over $1 billion, which to this day still shocks me, okay? I famously called that the first Joker movie would not make more than $500 million worldwide, and yet it doubled that basically, and I think that's because it had that mass appeal, right? So what we're really talking about here is a movie and a project that stumbled into this massive success, caught a cultural windfall, and became one of the most successful movies in the history of Hollywood. Like, when we talk about successful movies, like, a lot of people will point to Endgame, Avatar, and separate movies like that, okay? And those are obviously successes. But I think some of the biggest successes in the history of Hollywood are actually, like, the Blair Witch Project, right? Joker. Movies that had a very small budget that performed at such a crazy profit margin that like they changed the trajectory of entire people's career and trends within Hollywood. So that is the level of success that Joker 1 had. Absolute insanity. Yeah, My Big Fat Greek Wedding is another example. Like sometimes you hit these just astronomical. It's almost like if you're playing an MMO or video game, you find a glitch. That's how asymmetrical the reward is. It feels like a glitch, right? And so what we're really talking about with Joker 2 is like how to take a phenomenon like that, how to take a cultural windfall like that and become so terrible, have such bad word of mouth that you deliver a bomb that might actually be one of the worst in the history of Hollywood. Right now, the Joker has the lowest cinema score out of any comic book movie ever. Ever. Okay? That in and of itself is insane, but the hits just keep on coming. So this would make Joker the 5th bomb in a row under DC. By the way, all 5 of those movies coming out under James Gunn as the president. Okay? If you go back even further than that, this makes either 8 or 9 bombs out of 10 for DC. The only hit within the catalog being the Batman. You could kind of make an argument that maybe Black Adam or maybe Aquaman 2 didn't like bomb epically. Both those movies ended up, I don't know, you could say maybe breaking even, although if you recall, there was a big article out in the trades where like essentially The Rock was using like fake math to try to say that Black Adam made money. And then a bunch of people in Hollywood were like, hell no, bro, like here's some math. That shit lost at least 90 million, right? And it's probably the case of Aquaman as well, okay? So you've got now 9 out of 10 of the last movies was a bomb under DC. 5 in a row, all under James Gunn as the new president. If you go back to 11, you actually get 2 hits, and that would be because you're including the first Joker. I mean, dude, it's crazy. I looked at the charts, I looked at the list myself, and I was like, okay, so you had the first Joker. Okay, cool, interesting. Then you go into, like, Birds of Prey, The Suicide Squad. Like, just, and, like, dude, bombs. Fucking bombs, dude. Now, to give Gunn a little bit of credit here, he was not creatively involved in Joker. Okay, and bro, thank God, right? And he also seems to have learned his lesson a little bit from Blue Beetle. Do you guys remember, like, the Flash and Blue Beetle, when Gunn, and even Shazam, when, like, Gunn was trying to act like these were, like, epic movies that were really important that you should totally see? And then they all bombed horribly, and now Blue Beetle's gonna be fucking Nova in the MCU, right? So shit's going crazy over there. And so I think he did the right thing by distancing himself, and he talked a little bit about this on social media. He was also plugging stuff like the Dynamic Duo news and Penguin. He was not talking about Joker at all, and I think that's good for him. However, I still think he's culpable, and if I were a shareholder of Warner Brothers or Warner Brothers Discovery or whatever, and I was like, so this guy became president, and then we released 5 fucking epic bombs in a row, I'd still be mad, and I still think he has some level of culpability there. Now, I think the Joker film was running through not the DC film division, right? So it was DeLuca and Abdi, I believe, and they have a lot of culpability here too, and Gunn wasn't super involved. But I do want to draw sort of a parallel here, because although it is the case that Gunn is not directly involved, I still think the stink is on him. And you look at a person like Kevin Feige, who of course has made mistakes in the last couple of years, but like when the MCU was being formed, this is a guy that literally fired Edgar Wright. You know what I mean? Like, imagine the fucking balls you have to fire Edgar Wright 8 years into a project that kind of births the whole idea of the MCU in some ways. That's like an entirely different conversation. But he like fires him because he's like, nah, dude, you're not it. You're not it for this. We have a vision. Okay? And right now, I think all the stuff we've been saying about DC for a long time, it's all still true. It's all still true. Complete lack of identity, completely fractured. It's crazy. It's crazy. Your one hit in the last 10 movies is a Batman movie that's not even in your actual universe, that isn't getting a sequel for 2 years, that also has your only hit television show. It's crazy. Okay? So the entire mess over there at DC, I still think Gunn has some culpability in, mainly because like he's not stepping forward to actually solve any of these problems. The Batman thing is a problem. The Joker thing is a problem. These Elseworlds are part of why DC is fractured. And I think the big picture here is that fans en masse just are turning away from DC. Like, that's a huge part of what's actually happening right now. And Gunn is responsible for at least, like, trying to put a tourniquet on that thing. I continue to say that if he would have just held off on his full reboot plans, those movies maybe would have had a better chance. And by the way, a lot of the audience that would have seen those movies is the exact audience that would have seen Joker. 100% that's the case. And instead, you have this sort of scorned audience and this just sort of distance between the actual content and the fans. And that just grew over time. It could still affect Superman. Gunn likes to believe, and I think that he, I hope in some ways he's right, that Superman can truly distance itself from all the other DC crap. Maybe for some people, and I do think audiences are a lot smarter than they used to be, but I think a lot of normie people are just getting more and more of a bad taste with DC, and I'm really curious as to how that might affect Superman. We will see. Okay? But if we have to blame one person for the Joker 2's debacle, it obviously has to be Todd Phillips. Todd Phillips has to have done this on purpose. He has to have done this on purpose. Todd Phillips has made comments in the past about how he was basically upset that people misinterpreted the first Joker movie. He's made comments about how he doesn't like how certain groups of people find a lot that they enjoy about that portrayal of Joker in the first movie. And I think that the by and large narrative here that a lot of people are going with is you enjoyed Joker the wrong way the first time. And Todd Phillips is here to make sure that, number one, that doesn't happen again. And number two, you can't even enjoy the first one the way you did. That's truly how it feels. And again, I don't know how else to frame this, because to take that cultural windfall and that level of support and turn it the way that it has been turned, it can't just be incompetence. I think simple incompetence could get you a really sloppy movie that didn't feel earned, that wasn't actually desired. But this is different. This is a rejection, the likes of which we have not seen in a long time. So the projections on this movie are interesting because you could see in real time as word of mouth that was so bad washed over the world and people actually canceled their plans to go see this movie. The projections were going down in real time because people were canceling their actual tickets. That's crazy. And if you think about the context of the movie itself, I don't want to get into full spoilers, but I think at this point, more people will watch videos about the spoilers for this movie than will ever actually watch the movie. It's pretty clear that it's anti-audience. I mean, that's how you get the lowest cinema score in a comic book movie ever. You become anti-audience. And it's this weird thing, man, that we're seeing where, sometimes we see stuff in a big franchise and it feels like vindictive or it feels like there's an agenda, but you're not exactly sure, right? You can't necessarily 100% prove that. I think, given what actually happens in this movie, the absolutely ridiculous ending, which is just there to undermine the character and undermine your hero worship of the character. I don't think there's another way to slice it. This was done intentionally. This was essentially what Todd Phillips wanted, and they also wanted a shit ton of money. As we've talked about, I think the truth about this project is this was probably something that Hollywood wanted to push out because they're just a machine, and they want to push shit out. But it was probably actually done by Todd and Joaquin and maybe a little bit by Lady Gaga as well, because they wanted to get a payday based on the success of the first movie. So this movie was kind of like a way for them to all get a big check, and it was a way for Todd Phillips to say fuck you to the fans. And so, ironically, as the Joker says in the first movie, you get what you deserve. Isn't it so weird that Todd Phillips ends up becoming the thing that his character was seemingly against in the first film. It's just weird. You know what I mean? And it's also really interesting to watch as Hollywood continues to struggle. So there's a lot of things that people are saying right now about the movie that I think are accurate and that, yeah, need to be said, right? And I think the first one is that this is Todd Phillips' fault. And I do feel like he made a film to try to correct or educate fans, and he was not interested in pleasing them at all. And it's ironic to think about that movie and then like Deadpool and Wolverine, which is a movie that's just there to please people. And it did. It pleased like so many people. It's just weird that like Hollywood can't seem to figure this out. I think another thing that people are saying that is absolutely true is that Hollywood is super out of touch. I mean, we talk about this all the time, but Hollywood is just so out of touch. And it's actually kind of becoming embarrassing. So earlier last week, do you guys remember there was an article that came out in the trades about how bad toxic fandom is? About how studios are hiring focus groups to try to figure out and test things to make sure that there's not fan backlash and all that kind of stuff. So Hollywood is, they're literally like flailing. Like they can't seem to figure it out. And I think that, narratively speaking, they've just lost almost all control. And so YouTubers, people on social media in general, podcasters, content creators, TikTokers, whatever you want to call it, there's just so many different ways for people to get information. And really what I'm talking about is to form narrative around these different projects. So they are trying, like Hollywood continues to try via the way that they release information, put articles out and everything like that. But the audience is becoming smart. And I think a lot of the new media audience is becoming really, really smart. Because, like, for instance, would the Hollywood trades have ever, like, established the narrative that Joker 2 was a movie that's just a cash grab? And that maybe they were taking advantage of the Hollywood studio system and the audience instead of trying to help both. Like, that's just a narrative that, like, wouldn't exist out there. And yet that narrative has, like, permeated a lot of the conversations about Joker. I also think the leaked ending. I mean, dude, that leaked ending was so bad. I can't even imagine the impressions it got on all sorts of social media. Like, it was massive on Twitter, probably massive on Reddit, massive on YouTube. I didn't do a video on this, but I'm curious, chat. Did any of you guys watch a video about the Joker 2 leaks? I know we talked about it a little bit on stream. I didn't do a dedicated video, but I'm assuming those videos are out there, and I'm assuming people watch them. So it's just like, it's crazy how out of touch Hollywood is and how ahead of things modern audiences are via social media. And honestly, people just that aren't a part of the machine, so they're free to say how they feel and also free to form their own opinion. It's really weird. But that is definitely a case. I also think that, you know, this is kind of an interesting comparison. I wanted to talk about this because right now, a lot of people are trying to analyze this moment and try to find the antidote. Like, what is the antidote to this? Hollywood's in the business of finding stories, IPs, franchises, telling stories that interest and excite audiences. That's what they do. So one example in parallel that I wanted to talk about here was Joker 2 versus The Rings of Power Season 2. Okay? Now, walk with me on this, because I actually think these are almost opposite tales, and I think there's a lesson within here. I don't exactly know what the lesson is, but I think there's a lesson here. So, Rings of Power was a show that was basically just shit on, okay? And the first season specifically caught a bunch of interest from farming YouTubers and content creators. And a lot of this, by the way, totally Amazon's fault. They did some really stupid shit where they tried to hire actors to pretend to be Tolkien fans. Like, they're literally doing like propaganda to try to make it look like actual Tolkien fans, like what was going on in the Rings of Power. They absolutely deserve to be shit on for that. A lot of the decisions they made for the Rings of Power show, terrible, lore breaking, bad. Okay. I think it was only 30% of people that started Rings of Power Season 1 ended Rings of Power Season 1. Okay. And then you've got Joker 2 again, or Joker 1, massive success, catches a cultural wave. Like, the channels and the content creators that were farming Rings of Power to do like negative content were supporting Joker, right? So again, like, you got to think in terms in culture, and I think a lot of that stuff's weird, but it is the case that people are still motivated by those things. So on the one hand, you have Joker becomes this bastion, I don't know, incel fever dream, or, it became this phenomenon, and it was supported by a lot of culture. And then you have Rings of Power Season 1 that was shit on by culture, and a lot of people didn't check it out. Well, now, years later, you've got Rings of Power Season 2 actually performing way better than people realize, actually about to get greenlit for a third season, and the word of mouth on Rings of Power Season 2 is that it's better. Okay? So you had something that was culturally shit on and admonished, and now word of mouth is better. It's actually one of the biggest shows that's happening right now, and it will probably get greenlit for more. And yet, the Joker movie, which was supported by culture and was this massive success, is now going to become one of the biggest bombs ever. That's so weird. So what the fuck happened? And I think in this example, in this parallel, actually lies a lot of answers. Okay? I'm not sure what they are. I'm just going to be honest. I'm not fucking sure what they are. But I do think it's worth talking about. Now, one theory I have, okay, is it has to do with a barrier for entry. So, one of the reasons I think Season 2 of Rings of Power is doing well is because you can watch it from home, and everybody has Amazon Prime. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you can watch it from home, and everybody has Amazon Prime. Okay? On top of that, the show looks good. Even the first season, it looked good. It looked cool. And people like Lord of the Rings. People like Lord of the Rings. People like fantasy. So, Rings of Power is able to catch just a little bit of positive buzz, and it's super accessible, and therefore I think it gets numbers. Right? Now, Joker 2 is like super inaccessible. It's almost like they did it by design. Okay? You got to go to the theater for Joker 2. Okay? That's number one. Number two, you got to deal with a musical. It's a fucking musical, dude. Like, talk about inaccessible. It's a musical that you have to go to the theater for. Yeah, probably not for long. That's true. It will probably hit streaming asaptually. And honestly, people will probably check it out on streaming because, again, the barrier for entry is low. So, I don't know, man. I just think it's really, like, Hollywood is at this place right now, and I think a lot of people just in general are trying to figure out, like, how is this entertainment thing going to shake out? Okay? And I think, like, one of the big sort of rearing heads of this Hydra is absolutely fans. It is absolutely the fans. They have more power than ever. They are able to push content out themselves. Narratives are able to take hold within fandom. And I think one of the worst things you can do for a brand is like put a portion of fandom at odds with your product. That's a bad idea. And there's so many different ways that that can be accomplished. You know, it's not just like, you know, female representation. It's not representation. It's this multifaceted thing where at the end of the day, all that needs to happen is for people, you know, farmers on YouTube or, you know, Reddit or whatever, to find one thing to form a narrative around, and then you say nothing and like make it worse, right? So like one of the things that's happening with Star Wars right now, and I'm so thankful that I'm not on Twitter anymore because I don't have any like pressure or feel a desire or have the ability to interact with any of these conversations, right? But that fandom is eating itself alive, and it continues to just get pushed forward. So recently, the Yas lady came out and basically kind of threw shade at Lucasfilm about not protecting actors, this, that, second, and the third. Well, then what that causes is a bunch of really annoying people to promote that idea and say that anybody that criticizes a show or that thinks that an actor is cringe is like harassing them. And it all just becomes part of the narrative, this back and forth narrative, and it's like it's destroying itself. So I think that fandom and, you know, how fans interact with this stuff and how they act on social media, it's a huge problem that Hollywood does not understand. I find it hilarious that they're trying to figure out these focus groups and try to figure that out, because I think that subverting expectations has now become pretty awful, and you know, returns have just diminished to the point where it's frankly a really bad idea to do that, especially with big IP. And I also think getting aggressive in your messaging or messaging in a way that can be, you know, taken up in the culture war is just this huge mistake. But in some ways, a lot of these problems are just problems of the past that have become accelerated because of technology, changing tastes for the audience. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of sympathy for these people, but it is a difficult situation, something that they have to figure out how to crack. But there are examples of doing it right, and there are examples of doing it wrong. And man, Joker too. I mean, we'll have to see how the actual numbers play out. The week 2 fall off is going to be interesting. It'll probably be massive. And then we got to figure out like the actual cost of it. But yeah, I mean, it's looking like it's going to be an all-time bomb. And I find it fascinating that we live in a world where Rings of Power is somehow doing better and getting more fan support, and Joker is bombing. And it's like the audience isn't even curious. Like, they're not even... The people that saw it are shitting on it to such a degree that I think the curiosity has just been obliterated. I don't even know how well it'll do on digital now. Remember The Flash? So The Flash, guys, was this huge bomb, massive bomb, but then The Flash went on to bomb on digital. Like, it didn't even get views on streaming. That's fucking wild. Like, for you to be so bad, or the narrative around your project to be so bad, that people won't even watch it at home streaming. Like, my God, bro. That's pretty crazy. So, I think, to sort of wrap it up, I think multiple reasons as to why Joker 2 failed. But I think the real thing that happened was the narrative about the movie just caught wildfire, and it turned just so many people off. Right? I think that's ultimately what happened. If the quality of the movie was a little bit better, would that have helped? Sure. But ultimately, the DNA of the thing, like in its bones, it was anti-fan. And it's a pretty Joker fan thing to do, by the way, to like sniff that out and completely reject it, and then they get what they deserve. So, what a sort of complicated and colorful story. One of the biggest successes in Hollywood becomes one of the biggest bombs ever produced in that town. And I'm fascinated by multiple parts of this story. So I'll open it up to a little bit of question and answer. Wonder if you guys have any takes on it. And also, too, is there anybody in this chat that watched it that actually liked the movie? Like, I would be really curious about that. Was there anybody that watched this shit that actually liked it? I think the one person I saw that liked it was Mark Miller. Or Mark Millar. I don't even know how to say his name. He said he liked it. Oh, Francis Ford Coppola, of course. Coy liked it and gave his reasonings. Wow, interesting. Coy liked the end. Oh, wow. Did I see your super? No, I didn't, brother. Was it a recent one? Let me see here. Also, we need more likes on the stream. I'm not trying to be a dick, a douche. I'm not trying to be a douche dick, but yeah, we need more likes. C-Dub says the Wachowskis did the exact same thing to the Matrix 4 as Phillips did with Joker. That's a great parallel. Okay, let's talk about that. Y'all know about this? You heard about this? You know about this? So the Wachowskis, and we don't know for sure, but it seems to be the case. By the way, did they ever clarify this? Because I feel like one of the Wachowskis kind of came forward to say that this was correct. But essentially what you have with The Matrix Reloaded, is that the newest one? I forget what it's called. But essentially you have maybe one of the most successful trilogies in the history of Warner Brothers, the Matrix movies, which also is such a wild story because the first movie underperforms because of Combine. And then the other, it like actually had crazy DVD sales. I know I'm dating myself here, but the fucking Matrix DVD is amazing, dude. When you go from like analog VHS audio to like stereo sound system audio on DVD and you watch The Matrix, oh my God. The scene at the airport with all of the brass hitting the ground in like slow-mo and shit. It was an incredible experience. Okay, anyway. Josh, you weren't that old. Calm down. That's just real talk. That shit was crazy. Anyway, Matrix becomes a huge hit, and then they do 2 sequels, and they blew the fuck up, dude. Those things were great for the box office. Not necessarily that great for critics or fans, but for the box office, it was good, okay? Yeah, THX, exactly. Anyway, so studio definitely wants more. I mean, studios just do what studios do. They're like, here's a list of all the movies that made us money. Let's do a sequel to all of them. Okay? So then, like, Warner Brothers is trying to get the Wachowskis to do this. Eventually, the Wachowskis agree to do it. But the rumor is they made a bad movie on purpose. And they were actually trying to stick it to the studio. Now, I think the only difference between what Todd Phillips did and the Wachowskis did is that Todd Phillips also wanted to stick it to the fans. Yeah. And I'm not sure that the Wachowskis did. But it feels like that's what Todd did. So, like, is there in a room where no, microphones were on, was there a meeting where Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix were saying, like, we think we could get $50 million just for us and Lady Gaga, and then we can make a movie that shits on the studio, shits on all these incels that liked our first movie, and loses the studio money, and we still get our 50. Because I don't know if something like that happened, but I do know that Todd Phillips, well, okay, I shouldn't say I know for sure, but the rumor that we've talked about a lot on the channel is that Joaquin got 20, and then Gaga and Todd Phillips got 15 each. And this movie is probably going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars, at least a single hundred. So the studio and the investors lose more than double what Todd Phillips, Joaquin Phoenix, and Lady Gaga all received as just to be in the film. I'm ignoring Twitter chat right now? What do you mean? What Twitter chat? I don't even know what Twitter is. So that's crazy. That is pretty wild. I like the theory, but I doubt it very much. Why would Gaga and Phoenix do this to their careers? I bet they thought that they could still get critical appeal. Because remember, the critics didn't even like the first Joker. Right? Do you want me to go full conspiracy theory? Should I go full conspiracy theory on this? What if I went full tinfoil hat on this? And also, am I allowed to do tinfoil hat shit now? Because we're about to like sign some deals and stuff. I might not be able to do full tinfoil hat anymore. You know, we got to keep it above board. So let's start with a question. Is Hollywood a huge exporter of culture? Yes or no? Yes or no? Do Hollywood movies make a big impact on culture? Yeah. What if this movie was to correct a mistake and that certain influential powers didn't like the cultural impact that the first movie made? Because, like, and this is super tinfoil hat, right? But sometimes I think about this and I'm like, why would they do this? Like, why would you make such an anti-fan film? Why would you want to tear down the mythos you build? I don't understand it. What if it was just a little too liberating? No, because all they care about is money. Okay, so do you think... Oh man, this is going to turn into a diamond lounge. Do you really think all they care about is money? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so. I think I think it's possible because, like, here's just as an example. Like, I'm trying to kind of be careful here, but so one thing that we should all recognize is that Hollywood is very much in the camp of promoting American military superiority. So if you use anything military in your movie, you literally have to work with the military. Okay? And that's because they want to export a consistent reality, a consistent perception that we are the baddest, we have the most guns and shit. Okay? So that is absolutely something that happens in Hollywood. Something that we should all recognize is just the reality. Okay? do you think it stops there? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, just if you can accept that reality, then do you think it stops there? Right. So what other things would you want to put out there? I mean, if I lived in a society and if I was comfortable in how that society was going, I don't know if I'd want to perpetuate an idea that completely rejecting the norms of society and taking things into your own hand should be glorified. Right? So how do you put that genie back into the bottle? Well, you gotta make him look like a bitch. You gotta have him have his girl make him look like a bitch. And you gotta have society throw him under the bus for the next one. So, sometimes I get a little conspiratorial when I look at things like this because I'm like, what the fuck? It doesn't make any sense. Why would they do that? Yeah, I don't know. Just a theory. Just a theory. But I do think that sometimes Hollywood is willing to sacrifice profit to send a message. I'm not sure if this is one of those examples. It's either like tragic incompetence, a vendetta from a single guy in Todd, or the motion of the ocean. You know what I mean? And either way, it's a big bomb. Either way, it's a big old stinky bomb. Like, I don't think I'll ever watch this movie, dude. Like, I have zero interest in watching this movie. What a wild fucking situation. And then, look, I'm almost done yapping about this. But one more thing I got to say here, because this is actually kind of... I want to kind of bring it back to the Marvels here, too. Because, like, we talk a lot about trends that Hollywood is doing that are falling flat. So, like, you know, I know some people get butthurt about this, but it really is the case that, like, comic book movies are a male-dominated audience. Like, that's just what it is. It's a male-dominated audience. You can absolutely make stuff that is targeted specifically towards women, but you have to understand you're going after a small slice of the overall pie, so you can't, like, give it a bajillion-dollar budget. The Marvels, that's part of the problem with the Marvels. That's part of the problem with Madam Web. It's not the full picture, but it's part of the problem. I think Joker stands as an example of something different. Some people are trying to say that they're the same because it was like Lady Gaga. I never felt like this movie was really targeting women, though. Like, do you guys agree or disagree? Do you think it was targeting women? And do you think the inclusion of Gaga and Harley Quinn was specifically targeting women? I don't think so. So then what that means is we have a whole nother example of Hollywood fucking up, being super out of touch with the fan desires, and putting out a product that bombs epically, and it wasn't targeted towards women. And I think the reason that's important is because, like, a lot of people will say, oh, it's just toxic, sexist fans. But that's not exactly right. And I think Joker stands as an example of that. Joker failed not because it was propped up as, like, whammon Joker. It's because everybody saw through all the bullshit and saw it for what it was, which was a goobly glob sequel we never needed that disrespected the fans. You see, disrespecting the fans can come in many different forms. And I think the most important part of this is how is it perceived by the fans? What is the narrative that the fans develop? The narrative surrounding Joker is that this movie is a slap in the face and disrespectful to even fans of its own franchise. So just like there are many ways to skin a cat, there are many ways to fuck up a franchise. Hollywood's figuring them all out. It's crazy. So that's the last thing I wanted to say on it. We can move on. Joker 2. What a bomb. Rossi says, with a $20 holla, says, I have 5 friends who watched Joker 1, 3 DC fans and 2 normies. All said it was a great movie, but they would never watch it again because it was too depressing and disturbing for a second viewing. I wonder if that affected the second film. Well, you know what's funny about that? And Ben, welcome to the Nerd Vengers, baby. You are a Nerd Venger now. You know what's funny about that, dude? That was my take on why it wouldn't make $1 billion. When I saw the movie, I said, yeah, that movie's not going to make $1 billion because it's too uncomfortable to sit through. It's not a good vibe. It's depressing, dark, and kind of weird and like creepy. And I was like, yeah, I don't really see people showing up, you know, in droves to go watch Joker. And I was wrong. So there's something in that movie that does have mass appeal. Maybe like the concerning, if we go back to my conspiracy, right? Maybe that was the shocking part to them. You know what I mean? Where they're like, damn, that many people want to watch this movie? All of a sudden, you know, we're putting up more ring lights in the Hamptons and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Just thought. But that's my original feeling on the film. That's why I didn't think it was going to make $1 billion. I would have to say, though, Rossi, that the simple fact that it made that much money would indicate that, to me, that that's not a part of the problem. You know what I mean? I actually don't think that's the issue here. CC Rada says, didn't get a notification today or lately. Boo! Well, that sucks. Well, make sure you're following me on Twitter because I put out all the notifications over there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, shall we wrap up the Joker conversation? Should we wrap up the Joker conversation? Your Twitter back? Nah. Thoughts on Penguin? Yeah, it's all right. I haven't watched the 3rd episode, but it's all right. I like the Penguin. I mean, I like it enough. Okay, all right. Everybody's like, wrap it up, dude. Holy shit, this dude can yap. Oh my God, the yappening. The yappening is happening. I missed your member chat? My bad, Grant. Let me see. Yo, Josh, hope you had a good weekend. Took girlfriend to the gun range. She loved it. I'm new to comics. What are the best Doom ones? Can't wait for the Diamond Lounge. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I got to get Elisa out to the range, too. Because I want Elisa to be able to, use and service and all the weapons that we have in the house. Seriously. Like, I think that's actually good to know, because if something happens and you've never used it before and you need to use it, that's not the time to learn, right? So you learn on the range. And one of my favorite Doom comics, I would say Books of Doom, Triumph and Torment. That's a story with him and Doctor Strange. That's really cool. Of course, Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars is really cool. I actually have never read the run or the story of Doom in the Mark Waid Fantastic Four stories. We were deep diving on Fantastic Four last month, and I realized I must have just skipped over the Mark Waid shit. I didn't read a lot of it. And there's a part in there where Doom goes like full on. Yeah, Chris Cantwell run. Yeah, I want to read that. I actually hadn't read that. So yeah, I wanna read a little bit more Doom myself, but those are my recommendations. Okay. All right. Let's talk now about Captain America: Brave New World and the plot leaks. Now, slight spoiler warning, but here's the thing. We're not going to go into full details of the plot leak. That's not what this segment is about. I did a video which breaks down the leaks, and even in that video, I didn't go into full detail, okay? There's aspects and things we could talk about here. What I want to do with this segment right now with you is discuss in a non-spoilery way these leaks, because they're making waves. And it's maybe one of the most negative leaks I have seen for a Marvel movie in a while. And I think that's actually mostly due to the person that did this leak being an asshole. Okay? By the way, how many of you guys did read the leaks? Throw one into the chat if you did. And if not, that's okay, because we're going to talk about them contextually without going into full details, okay? But the person that leaked this appears to have seen a recent screening. It was pre-viz, or like not all of the effects are in the movie. And if you read the leak, which is available on Reddit, and I know initially there was some confusion, like maybe this wasn't real. In fact, Alex Perez initially said, no, this is not real. And then he walked that back and said, oh, shit, it is real. And a lot of other people are saying that it's real, too. So, number one, it's real. And I think what's going on right now is they're doing a bunch of screening, testing audiences to see how they feel about certain things. And then they're going to make more changes. There's a report out there that Captain America Brave New World will be going through changes and reshoots all the way up till about 2 weeks before the movie releases, if you can believe it. That's a Marvel thing, by the way. And they've done this before. So remember Quantumania? Do you guys remember Quantumania? The ending for that movie literally changed, and they filmed it less than a month before the movie released. So how fast, how close to it can they do it? Pretty fucking close. So up until 2 weeks till Brave New World, they're going to be changing things. So this isn't the final version of the movie, but it is accurate insofar as it is the most current version of the movie. Okay? So that's the first thing we got to discuss. It is real. Now, I do think, as I said, the person that put this out is very negative. It's clear they do not like this movie. It's also clear, in my opinion, they don't like Sam Wilson as Captain America. Honestly, I wonder how much of that is just out there. You know, this is something we haven't really talked too much about in our community, so I'm sort of curious as to how you feel. Do you, like, are you going to support Sam Wilson as Captain America? Do you not like Sam Wilson as Captain America? Are you sort of predisposed to not like this movie because Sam is Cap? Because, like, I don't really care. But when I say that, like, I really mean it. Like, I don't care either way. I think the decision to make Sam Wilson Cap in comics was probably stupid. I think Marvel Comics is kind of trying to right that ship right now. They're trying to make them all exist at once. But having said that, I'm not, like, butthurt about it. I don't really care. And I think Anthony Mackie's fine. There are parts of Falcon and the Winter Soldier that are good. That show is overall trash. But the characters themselves are cool, right? So, like, I'm not against him being Cap. But I do wonder how much of that is actually out there. Because it seems like this person had a big problem with it, okay? Now, if I were to steel man what the person was trying to say in the leaks, and this is basically me, guys, trying to kind of give you maybe the worst case scenario. If we were to believe the attitude of this person, the movie is messy, but also way too simple. So I think a lot of the stuff that's in the movie is just way too safe, the way that they explain it. And I mean, honestly, like, it's kind of weird because this movie and the show, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, are both projects that were almost like ahead of real world events. So I talk about this all the time. Marvel really does not like it when we talk about this, but the working title, or the LLC for Falcon and the Winter Soldier was literally called Pandemic Productions. Okay? So it was called Pandemic Productions, and then the actual pandemic happened, and they were like, oh, fuck, we have to change this whole show. That's why the show sucks, because they gutted it, they changed the motivation for the villains, they cut out all sorts of action sequences because they didn't want to have pandemic in there at all. New World Order, or Brave New World, which was originally called New World Order, which now, due to sort of conflicts in the Middle East and a lot of attention on those conflicts, is like faux pas because that's a big conspiracy about Zionism and stuff like that. So they run into that. They have this Sabra character that's connected to Israel, and now that's a whole fucking thing, and people really are mad about that. On top of that, they had Isaiah Bradley shoot at President Ross in the White House, and now they've apparently removed that because Trump actually got shot. So, like, who are these people writing all of the shit for Sam Wilson's Captain America, and why are they predicting the future and then being forced to change everything that's in the movie because of it? So, going back to the actual leak, the leak discusses things kind of becoming watered down, Sabra being one of them. And I think the character is just going to be called Ruth. There's no connection to Israel now. There's no connection to her being Sabra. There was apparently a cut where she was going to talk about being a mutant. Okay, because Sabra is actually a mutant in comics. That got cut too. So I think the movie, you know, they cut the shooting of Isaiah. So now Isaiah's just going to be like really mad and go after the president or something. So the leak suggests that a lot of the movie is ambiguous and safe. Okay? And I think one of the reasons that they're doing that is because they've just tried to remove everything controversial, and therefore it ends up just feeling super flat. Do you know what I mean? So I could see that being a problem. Like, this is a problem I think Marvel has had with a couple of different shows and movies where, like, they do this thing that's seemingly controversial, and then they, like, try to walk it back and make it as milquetoast as possible, as you know, non-offensive as they could possibly have it, and then it ends up being pretty bland. So I could see that being a problem with the movie. Remember, this is a movie they've been making for years, dude. Like, they've been making this movie for years. And they keep changing it. They keep adjusting it. Some of the stuff that's been added seems to be cool. And a lot of it seems to just kind of be bland. So, again, motivations for the villain, kind of ambiguous, perhaps because they changed it and therefore took out detail. So it's literally ambiguous because maybe it was setting this up and now they've pulled it back. It's not setting that up. I think the political stuff is going to be so safe, dude. Like, just so safe, so middle of the road, not trying to be offensive whatsoever. And yet I still think people like this leaker are going to call it out for being overtly political. It's like, dude, yeah, they should probably just either go for it or not. But it kind of seems like they're trying to walk a line here, and it's going to end up feeling kind of bland. Okay? So that is maybe the bad. Now, I want to talk to you about some of the things that are in the movie that I'm actually excited for, because the deal is this, man. Like, I'm obviously a massive Marvel fan. There's a lot of stuff that Marvel's doing that I'm quite excited for. And I would like to be able to sit in a theater, watch Captain America Brave New World, have a good-ass time, and be excited about the future. Like, is that too much to ask for, bro? Like, that's where I'm at. I wonder where you're at. But where I'm at is like, I want to go into the movie theater, try to have a good-ass time, and be excited about the future Marvel projects. That's it. That's all I need. Okay? So, a couple of things that are in the film that I didn't think would be in the film that are interesting to me. Number one, the inclusion of Stark Industries. Now, I'm not going to go into full detail here, but a lot of the things we've been discussing as far as Stark Tech and the government and damage control and stuff that's maybe set up in the Thunderbolts movie, it's interesting. And Stark Industries is going to play a role in this movie. So do you guys remember when I said that those symbols on the map are actually Stark symbols? Yeah, they are. And you'll see what that whole thing is about. But another thing that's interesting in the movie is the inclusion of Amadeus Cho. And Amadeus Cho being connected to, I believe, that doctor that helped Tony create the thing that built Vision. I believe, wasn't her name Cho as well? I think Amadeus Cho is going to be connected to that character. He will be working with Stark Industries, and Hulk stuff with Amadeus is at the very least set up in this movie. Okay? So to me, getting some Stark Tech, learning more about how the world is viewing these problems and setting up possible solutions, that's cool. And I'm interested in that. There is also some new Avengers stuff. Again, I'm not trying to go into full spoilers. You can watch the video I did or go read the leak yourself. But it's very clear that between this movie and Thunderbolts, they are setting up a through line, and we will get to the new Avengers with both of these movies probably combining teams. And that is clearly set up in the film, and it's something that I think the leaker either misses or doesn't understand. Right? So I think new Avengers and the setup of that team is interesting, and I'm excited for it. And then, maybe the most interesting thing, the thing that I was trying to talk about with Rob yesterday, because we were both like, what the hell, has to do with the post-credit scene. Okay? And the post-credit scene is supposed to set up two things. And slight spoilers, I'm not going to get into full details. I'm actually thinking about doing a whole nother video about this. I did a video about it, but like I really want to focus on this thing because it's so interesting. This would be the formation of World War Hulk, or the setup for World War Hulk, or World War Hulks, and then a connection to the multiverse saga. And this, I believe, is a setup for Doctor Doom. Okay? And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Alex Perez said on the Cosmic Circus that what he thinks is happening... What are you doing? Just moving around, finding a new spot? Oh, he doesn't want to be facing the camera anymore, so he's just going over there. Alex Perez was talking about how he believed the Avengers were going to become aware of a big threat, and that big threat was going to end up being like the way they were going to set up RDJ Doctor Doom. Now, the Avengers won't even know fully what that threat is, but they will know something's coming, and they will start to prepare for it. So that scene, I think, is the post-credit scene. I think that's how they're going to establish this. Now, this has to do with some really wild, interesting stuff. I don't want to spoil stuff from the movie, but I'm quite curious as to how this particular character knows about that particular threat. I still have a lot of questions about that. And it may well just be the case that they were like, well, we got this villain, so he could tell everybody that Doctor Doom is coming or something like that. So, yeah, well, that to me is interesting. That to me is interesting. So, full thoughts on the leak, full thoughts on the movie. God damn it, this movie better be good, bro. Like, this movie better be good. There's stuff in the leak I don't like. There's stuff in the leak that I do like. Overall, though, I need the action to be fucking incredible. And I need the setup to be awesome. I need all the Marvel trappings to be really fun and cool. I need Anthony Mackie to not be super lame and cringe. I would like to avoid you need to do better senator type moments, although I think there's going to be a few. And overall, I can see a scenario where I will really enjoy this movie. Like, I was reading the leaks, and I was like, damn, this person really doesn't like this movie. However, as a big Marvel fan, I was also trying to think like, okay, well, how I view this, how do I think about this? And ultimately, I actually am still really excited for the movie. I would love to get maybe better news and better leaks because I think they're still changing it. And it's possible that this person like literally filled out a survey and said like, I didn't like this about Sam. I didn't like this about Red Hulk. I didn't like this about Ruth or whatever, right? And so I'm hoping they make more changes and maybe in a couple of weeks or maybe in a couple of months, because what do they got, like 4 months before this movie comes out? I would love to get a different leak from a different screening and see, because Captain America 4 is just, it's a really interesting film for me. You know, we had Deadpool and Wolverine pretty hyped up. We'll see how Venom 3 does at the end of this month. That could elevate comic book genre Marvel feelings for people, or it could hurt it. And we'll see how Captain America performs next year. But I think they need a dub. And they're setting stuff up, you know, and seemingly setting stuff up kind of rapidly. So I think it would be great if Marvel audiences, like, to me, best case scenario, we all watch Captain America Brave New World, and we're like, yo, that was better than I thought it was going to be. I liked it. Excited to see next. You know what I mean? Like, that's the whole thing. That's the best case scenario, and I still think that's possible. Although, I won't lie to you. It seems like the movie still has some issues, and if I were to steel man the leakers' argument, I think ultimately the movie just feels very safe and therefore kind of ambiguous. It doesn't have a voice. It's just humming. So, that's it. That's the leak. That's what's going on. Are you throwing up? What the hell? He's so sick of it that he's throwing up. Are you okay, dude? You all right? Holy shit. Okay. Anyway, yeah. There you go. Captain America. What are your thoughts? Chat, thoughts? Luke, what the fuck? Okay, so when we start, you know, actually putting these things on Spotify and we actually, you know, sign these deals, we're probably going to need the dogs out of here. So they're not just yakking in the background. It's pretty chill. Pretty chill-ass professional stream we got going on over here. Yeah. You okay, dude? I'm going to go get him some food. I'll be right back. You all right, bud? Okay. Yeah, smoushed it into the carpet. We'll clean it later. Oh, Benjamin has a full routine. Scrape it up, spray some cleaner, dab it, absorb, then scrub and dry. Man, not going to do all that. Here's what I'll do instead. Denim feet. I'm wearing slippers. What the hell? I will spray some Windex in the general direction of it. It's the best I can do. Okay. By the way, I'm liking the new way the setup in the back is coming together. Yeah, it's not bad, huh? I gotta adjust the couch a little bit. Hi, Leia. I gave them both a little chicken. I don't know. Like, usually, like, they will only throw up like that if they, like, hadn't had food in a long time. So, like, if we're out and we come back and it's, like, a late dinner or a super late breakfast for them, sometimes they'll throw up like that. And it's just, like, a little, like, they need something in their stomach. But I think they had breakfast, so I don't know what the deal is. I gave them a little chicken, though, so they would chill. Yeah. Yeah. Den of cankles. Yo, so I don't have cankles, but my right ankle is super swollen. It's all fucked up, dude. I actually had trouble sleeping last night because my ankle was so fucked up. I, like, twisted it funny when I was cleaning, and then I went to the gym and did cardio. And, like, it hurt a little bit when I was doing cardio, but I was like, nah, like, I'll be fine. And then I got home and I was like, oh my God, I may have made a mistake. That's a cankle. You don't say that. You don't say that. Benjamin says, you can't fool us. I know that's your anti-horny spray for chat. Nah, but I should get one. Y'all are crazy. Get a poster for that Spider-Man poster. They cost like $10. I know. It's not the money. Holy shit. Just don't get Achilles tendonitis. I won't. Don't worry. Kangle? Jesus. Where is Shin? She's back there. Okay, I cleaned up in here. I was thinking about getting Shin and putting her up right there. Right in the corner. Or maybe we just lay her on the couch. You know? Yeah. Maybe we just do that, huh? Okay, should we talk about Halo a little bit? Shin Batty? Oh, hell yeah. Guys, he's lazy. We should know this. Am I lazy, though? I don't think I'm lazy. I just think I'm super hardworking. I think I'm probably the most hardworking YouTube/streamer that there is. Yeah. That shit you clean right away, bro? What do you want me to do? Stop the whole stream and clean up that little patch of throw up? It was like a little bit of it was a little patch of throw up. Holy shit. Did you smash turbate? Hell yeah. Oh, I look a little slimmed up. Oh, thanks. Oh, thanks. Just clean while we're talking. I'm going to clean later. How about this? I'll post a video on the Discord after I clean the carpet. Will that make you happy? Or maybe on my Instagram. They need a bath, too. He's, like, shedding a lot. Doubt it? 100% I will. What do you think, Leia? All right, let's talk a little bit about Halo. Yeah. Exactly, Sean. Exactly. 100%. Hell yeah. He's a Shiba. They're built to shed. No, they are. They really are. They shed a lot. Bro sounds like Seinfeld. A little bit, yeah. What's the deal with the Shiba Inu? Okay, Halo. I don't even know who's playing tonight, brother. Monday Night Football. I don't know who's playing. I know that I will be playing Throne and Liberty. Laughs in Husky. Yeah, Huskies are worse with the Huskies are worse with the shedding. Shiba are worse with the hyperactive prey instinct. The Chiefs? Okay, hang on. Let's talk about the Chiefs for a second. Guys, am I really seeing these rumors that T Swift and Travis Kelce are breaking up? Are those real? Has she really not gone to 2 games in a row? Oh my God. No, it can't be. It can't be. That's your Chiefs talk? Exactly. Because he's pro-Trump, so she hates him? Oh, really? They can't work that out? Is that really a thing, by the way? Are people not dating people that are opposite politically of them? Because I think that's so silly. Is that really a thing right now? I hate it here. That's crazy to me. All right. Anyway. All right. Let's talk about Halo. Do you guys remember Halo? You guys, can you move it just a little bit? I think Luke's actually not feeling good. Do you need to come up here and get some cuddles? Come here, buddy. Come here. No, not you, Leia. Come here, Lukey. Come here. Luke, come here. No, not you. Come here, Luke. Dude, she's going to go fight him now because I'm giving him... It's actually funny. Come here. Come here. Oh, Leia. Oh, Lukey. See, watch this. Watch this. Oh, Luke, what a good boy. Oh, Luke, what a good boy. Watch how Leia reacts. Oh, yeah, good boy, Luke. Oh, yeah, what a nice boy. Okay, anyway. Okay. Halo. Yeah, they look good. All right. Den of no reaction? What you mean? Yeah, she didn't really react the way she should. Yeah. Yeah, she made me look silly, huh? Don't worry, I'll get her later. Okay. What do I do with my hands, guys? You know, I took one Friday off, and now I forget how to even stream. I don't even remember how to stream. Am I doing this right? Is this how you stream? Is this how you content? Is it time? Are we contenting? Okay. Halo. Man, I fucking love Halo, bro. Oh my God. Y'all remember Halo? Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo Reach, Halo ODST, Halo 4, Halo 5, Halo Infinite. So Halo, despite being maybe one of the biggest game franchises of all time, selling bajillions of copies of games, has fallen on hard times. And I think mostly it has to do with Halo Infinite and the Halo TV show. Okay? So, Halo Infinite. Actually, its core gameplay is pretty good. I liked Halo Infinite, and I had a lot of fun with it. But it had this really weird problem due to its engine. Now, a game engine is honestly just, it's not something that people should really talk about. I know Unreal gets a lot of hype and everything like that, and that's fine. But a game engine should never be like a selling point or an actual conversation point of a game, ever, in my opinion. However, with Halo, it's important that we talk about the game engine because Halo Infinite made one crucial error, which I think really did end up killing the game and putting Halo where it's at right now. And that would be because of the engine. You see, Halo had a decision. They could either go into Unreal, and I think it would have been Unreal 4 at the time, or they could have stayed with the Slipspace engine. So Halo built their own game engine called Slipspace, And it was so horrible that it's why the game was delayed. It was why the game lacked content. And it is essentially why... What the hell are you whining about? Dude, they're definitely going to be canceled for the stream on Wednesday. This is crazy. Leia, you are killing me. I know. Jeez, Luke's licking his wiener. Hey, friggin' Leia's over here whining. It's a goddamn disaster, this stream. It's a goddamn disaster. Okay, so anyway, Halo Infinite has that problem, right? And I'm talking about, like, the engine was so bad that simple things, like just having armor or cosmetics that could work on multiple sets of armor, they couldn't get it to work. Like, they literally could not get it to work. Simple parts of levels, they couldn't get to work. Almost every conventional simple thing that would be needed to do in a game, they were unable to do. So it'll go on as this massive mistake that Halo made because they were trying to create a live service game, which is all based around content on an engine that it was incredibly difficult to make content for. What a stupid idea, right? And there were reports that they were considering abandoning Slipspace and going with Unreal, and this was years ago. And if they had done that, wow, we'd be talking about a completely different scenario, okay? Now, on top of that, of course, you have everything that's going on with the Halo show. Stupid producers, stupid people being involved, stupid show that disrespects the lore. And it's such... I mean, when you compare the Halo show to either the Mario movie or to the Last of Us television show or to the Fallout television show, it's just so obvious that those other projects were made in conjunction with somebody that understood the source material. And Halo... the show was not. So just like a lot of other stuff we talk about, like Joker or the Marvels or, you know, whatever, this, that, second, and third, the narrative arises that this is a piece of content made that's anti-fan. You know what I mean? And some of the comments that were made by some of the showrunners and people is like, wow, you know, very much anti-fan. Okay? So I say all of that to say, Halo, huge franchise, ton of potential, ton of promise, going through really fucking hard times right now. Well, yesterday, a rebranding was announced for Halo, and I actually want to watch this video by Eckhart's Ladder. Okay, I don't know if you heard who Eckhart's Ladder is, but he's the guy that steals all of the interviews from up-and-coming content creators and makes all of his videos using all of their interview footage and then gives no credit because he's a monster. That's why I like him. Let's watch his video about the new Halo shit and see how we feel about it.
All right, we just got massive news about the future of Halo, and I'm actually shocked to say I feel good about it. I feel really excited. So 343.
By the way, Eckhart's Ladder came to the same conclusion that I came to about Twitter. He wasn't forced off of the platform. He just realized it was horseshit. And so he's not really on Twitter either.
Well, sort of. Just released a new video about the future of the franchise, and things are, as needed, going in a completely different direction. 343 actually is no more. The studio handling Halo is now, well, Halo Studios.
A bit on the nose, but I like it.
We heard a lot in the past year about layoffs, new hiring, executives being moved to other projects or leaving Microsoft in total. Now we know more about the internal direction for the Halo franchise. And the big change is that Halo is dropping its proprietary engine, which for Halo Infinite was the Slipspace engine, and moving to Unreal Engine. And if you read any of the reporting about Halo Infinite's development, the attempt to create a new engine alongside a general lack of direction and leadership is one of the reasons why the game launched so bare bones.
Yep.
And to this day, there are things in slip space like certain object physics, collisions, which still don't work quite right, and it's been holding the game back. In the announcement, they discussed the fact that moving to an existing engine means that 343, or now Halo Studios, doesn't have to attempt to be both a game studio and a tech company.
Yeah.
You get to focus on making the game, which I think is certainly for the best. I want to preface this next bit by saying I've got no personal experience in game development, but I'm guessing the move to Unreal Engine will also open some other doors. We see in the video that they're partnering directly with Epic. I can see Halo being a real showpiece for the engine, especially if they do make it a graphical showcase like they say they want. But presumably working with such a commonly used engine will make hiring easier, should help new employees working on the game. It will hopefully allow the use of certain assets and textures and whatever else which already exist. Overall, it just makes sense, with the caveat that we're going to need to see the classic Halo gameplay, the Holy Trinity, the movement, everything in a new engine, and that's going to take some time to reproduce. So in this video from Halo Studios, we do see what they're calling the Foundry Project, which they say was an attempt to see how far they could push things. Now, to be clear, the videos and the screenshots you're seeing on screen are not of the next Halo game. This is essentially a technical test, creating dioramas to fly around in. A research project to see how well the new engine would fit the look of Halo, and to me, it looks great. We've got 3 environments specifically, a Pacific Northwest, traditionally Halo Infinite style biome.
Looks good.
They talk about how they focused on density of foliage. It all looks really great to me. Obviously, in keeping with Halo Infinite, they've got the classic Forerunner style aesthetics. Hopefully, the new game keeps those as well, but we're so far out from that I think it's important not to look too far into anything here. This isn't to say that the next Halo game is going to look like Halo Infinite. It's going to have a Pacific Northwest biome, nor does it mean the Flood are returning, because one of the...
So something else is kind of interesting here that I don't see a lot of people talking about is taking it to Unreal also makes it actually integrate with visual effects for movies and stuff like the volume. So if you didn't know, like a lot of the volume and a lot of tech in Hollywood is actually going in the direction of using Unreal, which is crazy. But like Unreal is just that good, and they just did a demo of 5.5 maybe last week, and it's unfucking believable what they're able to do in Unreal. Actually, dude, it's so funny you say that, Kendall. I know you're joking, but I literally have Warhammer animation on my show notes. So yeah, we'll watch them. Don't worry. And so maybe, you know, I'm speculating a little bit too much here, but I think with this rebrand and the fact that they're going to Unreal, I think it could also help Halo to actually make visual effects or assets that work in both their video games and their shows or their movies. Like there's a real possibility for, because I think a lot of studios are very forward thinking. You know, they've partnered with Epic, like directly. I think it's worth considering what Epic is currently doing. There was an article that was just released about how a lot of the people at Disney view the Epic deal and what they're trying to do there. And it's fascinating, dude. Like I won't like bog the stream down and getting it lost in the weeds, but they're able to think about what content is going to be like in the future. And I really think that a sort of combination of the movie going experience with the video game experience is actually going to take over as probably the experience of choice that people spend most of their free time doing. So that's kind of like a little bit more of a VR or like a metaverse experience. It's really like user-generated video game stuff that can also perhaps be experienced in a theatrical type setting as well. I don't even fully know what it is, but I know that a lot of studios and companies, whether they're in Hollywood or they're in the video game space, are actually on this same wavelength. They also think that's the future. So right now, this video is being presented and we're like, okay, yeah, Halo, more games. That totally makes sense. But it could actually have a scope that's far greater than that. This could be something like they're not just building video games. They're trying to build like a Halo metaverse or something that will then work with other metaverses or virtual experiences. And they want Halo to be accessible and easily accessible for whatever that looks like moving forward.
The other biomes is the Blight Lands. This was meant to be a fully alien world. I think this looks phenomenal. Once the Flood take over an atmosphere
good,
and an environment, it starts to change in a truly strange way. I love the growths and how the planet itself almost looks like it's turning into a giant flood form. And if this is the type of environment which can be created in Unreal Engine 5, I mean, that's pretty cool. The final biome is the Cold Lands, and this one specifically, they say, is meant to show off the technical abilities of Unreal Engine 5.
Whoa.
And this is incredibly impressive. It reminds me a lot, actually, of the 2015 Star Wars Battlefront game, which was not made on Unreal Engine, by the way. It was made on Frostbite 3. But I love the amount of complexity you can see here with the snow drifts, the various levels of ice, how it all can adapt to dynamic lighting. Just overall, incredibly impressive.
Yeah, it looks great.
But again, this is meant to look good. It's not meant to be what's realistic to play in. It is, however, I think, reassuring that the new engine can at the very least look like Halo. And we do also get a look at a Spartan in what looks like some Mark 6 armor. Obviously, this whole trailer is meant to capture the feel of classic Halo. So again, don't look too far into this armor choice, but it is really interesting to see aspects which have...
So I'm going to look too far into the armor choice, actually. I think this could indicate a remake of Halo 1. And we're kind of in this era where a lot of that's happening. I don't know if you guys are... How many of you guys are like really into anime? Do you know about the Bleach anime remake? Do you know about the One Piece anime remake? Well, why are they doing this? Well, I think that there's sort of like a generational gap between some content that was absolutely massive like 10, 20 years ago and current people. Right? I think they're probably going to do a remastered, graphically updated version of Halo 1, 2, and 3. Maybe they'll combine them all as one game or something like that. But I think that that would be a great way to sort of reestablish the IP to a bunch of like new audiences. And like, dude, it can definitely work. So I think the choice here to have it seem and have a lot of callbacks to like Halo 1, Combat Evolved, I think you're going to get a Combat Evolved. They should do the same with Star Wars.
Yeah, past Halo games like Moving Water, the Energy Sword, all get the forefront here. Yeah. But ignoring all the technical aspects of Unreal Engine 5 and the switch away from Slipspace, the big news in this video is that there are several Halo projects under development. They say specifically that given the various development progress here, that Halo is actually looking to hire on more people basically across the spectrum. They talk about how they're trying to both expand the studio, but that Halo Infinite was the last of the old Halo, the last of the previous way of doing things. Hopefully that means, and one of my major concerns is that Halo looks to move away from Microsoft's classic problem of over-relying on short-term contract work. My friend Kevin Kulex has talked about this extensively, but in short, Microsoft doesn't like long-term contracts, and the constant turnover after 12 or 18 months makes it hard to really establish a good pattern of work. Now, surely the moving to Unreal Engine 5, a more common engine than the Slipspace engine, to put it lightly, will help with that, but I guess we'll see. To be honest, the other issue which a new engine isn't going to fix is Halo's story. I know some people like Halo 4. I straight up did not. Very few people like Halo 5, and the direction of the game, from not just a gameplay standpoint, but in general, has been really poor under 343. Everything from the decision to really dive into the Forerunners and also make them cats, to whatever the story is of Halo 5, to having to restart in Halo Infinite has been not good. Now, I know that 343, now Halo Studios, has seen massive turnover in terms of leadership, so hopefully that part of the ship can also be righted, but nothing of the new engine really helps me think that's the case. I'm certainly open to it, of course, and Halo Infinite in many ways was a step forward. They moved away from the terrible new 343 art style we saw in Halo 4 and Halo 5. I think there was like the beginnings of an interesting story, although it didn't really go anywhere, but I'm at least open to it. You know, when talking about gameplay as well, you also can't blame many of 343's mistakes on engine selection. Halo 4 moved so far away from Halo's arena shooter roots, and I know people have issues with me calling Halo an arena shooter sometimes, but whatever. It moved so far away from that, as did Halo 5. But again, Halo Infinite was a step in the right direction, and I've always said I think Halo Infinite sort of...
Yeah, so Joker or Jonker on Twitch says they need to do the BR. Well, I think the lack of BR is because of slipspace. Like, that's what I think, man. I think slipspace itself was a big factor as to why they couldn't get that many players into a match. They couldn't figure out how to do it. It was just like this extra layer of difficulty that didn't need to be there.
Ended in a good place. I know it's not really over, but it's pretty much over. It ended in a good place. It was really the launch date that was the issue. The story in the campaign was way too limited. There weren't nearly enough maps, modes, guns, whatever in multiplayer to make it interesting. So I'm hoping that the new engine will allow 343 Halo Studios to do more while also keeping the ship on track. The graphics look great, but it's 2024.
True.
Most games look great. I don't think fans are wowed by that anymore.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, that's like one of my issues with a lot of the Unreal stuff. It's like, yeah, Unreal looks great, and a lot of the lighting demos and the things that they put out look great. But a lot of games are made on Unreal and end up being pretty unremarkable. So it's not like a silver bullet, but I think it's funny because, like, you do Unreal or you go to Unreal, you got to show it off because it looks great. Absolutely. But the real difference here is, like, opening up possibilities, getting rid of a lot of the restrictions and the difficulty that was added because of slipspace. That's a W. Like, that's a bigger W than the visual fidelity.
But I'm excited. And I didn't expect to be excited about Halo in October of 2024.
True.
Let me know your guys' thoughts, of course, on all this and more down below, and I'll see you next time.
Now, again, I don't understand the timing of this. Are we about to do a new quarterly earnings report or something? Like, is this like Microsoft trying to kind of get ahead of something? I don't really get it. But either way, yeah, I'm excited about a lot of these changes. It's just like a rebrand, new team, new philosophy. This is, by the way, this is kind of...
It's like the news, but for nerds.
That's like exactly what I think Star Wars needs to do. When we did our whiteboard for Star Wars, I said they needed like a clear rebrand. Now, I wanted to call it like Star Wars for the next generation or something like that. They're rebranding here, and everything else is old Halo. Now it's new Halo. Now it's Halo Studios. Now it's Unreal Halo. There's like all sorts of different ways you could say it, but it is a recognizable turning point, and now the future is more open just simply because it's this new philosophy, right? So I don't know, man. What do you guys think? Anybody here super excited for the new direction of Halo? What do you guys think? Huh? Halo? We got Halo fans in here? Halo fans? And let me get the Warhammer animation pulled up. It's a W, but I'm a Sony guy. Did you know there's a build of Halo 1 that was on the PlayStation 2? There's a demo disc that actually has Halo 1 on a PlayStation. Crazy. The selling point has become about how it looks. Who cares about the lore? Yeah, I hope not. I hope not. Never cared for Halo? What? Bro, what? What about the narratives? That's why I don't like Battle Royale. I want an actual narrative to my entertainment experience. As far as the story, so I'm not really sure what to tell you. If they do reboots, right, or remake, it'll largely probably be the same story. And, you know, good or bad, depending on how you look at it, right? Maybe they could update the story, maybe add a little bit more, like, extra stuff, and they set something else up. But by and large, it would probably be the story that it was. The good part of that is, like, it's back to its core, less Halo 4 and 5 flavor. And then the bad part is, like, nothing new. right? So I don't really know. Look at y'all pessimistic nerd Avengers. What? PlayStation is such a lit name. Yeah, it's not bad. My wife gave me mushroom vitamin gummies also. Oh, sick. Good for you. Alexander says, stoked for the new Halo. I actually played like 15 plus year MLG for Halo 2, and I hope I can make it back to the glory days. Yo, send me a DM, because now you're on my Halo team, and you got to carry me. MLG? MLG in Halo 2? Yeah, they want to move away from 343 because of how bad they butchered it. I agree. Let me be on your Halo team, bro. I'm Onyx ranked. Okay, send me a DM. Obviously not on Twitter. Permission to leave the station? I mean, you can leave. That's fine. You were MLG Halo 3 2008? Doubt it. Dude, I was really good at Halo 3. I probably could have gone pro. You know, I could have been a contender. No, I was that good. All right, do you guys want to see maybe one of the coolest Warhammer animations I've ever seen? It's only a couple minutes long. Okay, everybody relax. Okay, hang on. Everybody come back. Okay, everybody come back. Hey, wait, whoa. Just trust me. Just trust me. This is literally one of the coolest animations they've ever done. It's short and it's badass. And after you watch this, you're gonna be like, okay, damn, that could work in live action. Okay, damn, that could be really cool as a cinematic universe. Here we go. What's an original vinaigrette? What the hell? Whoa.
Quick! Close the door!
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
The Emperor be praised! Astartes!
Dude, did you notice like a little bit of an Avengers flair there? Dude, the Astartes. I mean, look at how badass they look. I love this shot. Them coming up to the guardsmen. Shit is sick.
Astartes!
Woo!
We better move. Come on, let's go.
Badass, dude. Oh, hell yeah. Oh my god! Splurge Daddy says, rather watch Luke yak more. God damn it. Yeah, you did that to me, Luke. You did that. Oh shit, power sword activated. Oh shit, it's some rippers. Yo. Space Wolf. Oh shit! Oh shit! So cool. Gilliman. Ah, yeah. See? Now everybody knows. Come on, Warhammer. Hell yeah. Now that's a cinematic universe we can all get behind. Thank God it's over. What the fuck? Don Todd says, the Death Watch has been making a lot of great love here lately. It's nice to see. Also, I think Space Marine 3, you will fight the Necrons. Much love. Yeah, probably. It seems like they're really pushing Death Watch a lot. It seems like they're pushing Necrons a lot. So it almost feels like that. And isn't that the new event? Pariah Nexus is like the new event, right? Because it was like the Tyranid thing, and then now it's Necrons, I believe. Isn't there like a civil war going on too with Trizon the Infinite and the Silent King or something like that? So yeah, a lot of cool stuff, man. And Space Marine has been an epic W for Warhammer, and they continue to just drop a ton of like really cool animation. So I think they're building up to something. I think it's time. You need to start making Warhammer videos again? Maybe. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I have for you today. We could chill for a little bit, and then I got to get out of here because I'm hungry. I got to eat some food, man. I'm starving. I'm going to start yakking like Luke if I don't get some food. So what's up with you guys? What's going on? What's up with you guys, chat? How you guys doing? Yeah, it was badass, huh? Everybody loved it. You call yourself a streamer, Josh? I mean, I guess, yeah. I'm hungry, though. Less Twitter, more Warhammer. Yes, that's a good formula, dude. Less Twitter, more Warhammer. Yeah. Get some wings? Josh, can I ask my boss? You said I can take the day off. Yeah, tell him. And if he gives you any flack, hit him with a why yada. And then you're good. Thanks for the stream. I've been making a sanguineous not tall that looks awesome. Oh, that's sick, dude. Hell yeah. Thank you, brother. Can't wait for Josh to tweet his opinion about Penguin 3. Don't hold your breath, bro. Thoughts on the roadmap for Space Marine? Look, I mean, it seems cool. I hope they continue to put content in there. I think new classes would be cool. I think new weapons would be cool. I mean, we'll see. The sky's kind of the limit, dude. Like, from what I understand, Saber was very active in building up content for World War Z. And didn't they do another game that they did a lot of content for? So if they put a lot of content into it, hell yeah. Hell yeah. What the hell? You might say they were interactive. Agatha smash or pass? Like Agatha specifically? I'd smash. Yeah. As someone who loves World War Z, I absolutely see them making some banger DLCs. Nice, dude. That's great. That's sick as hell. Oh, Watcher, dude. There are so many characters that are cooler than Titus. I mean, Titus is cool. But trust me, dude, he pales in comparison to some of these other characters. Are you finally seeing the masterpiece that is the Penguin? I mean, I watched the first two. The dogs make the stream better. I mean, I'm down to have them in here. They just can't be disruptive. That's the only problem. Because, I mean, maybe we don't have them when we do, like, the Nerdy News Rundown and we do, like, the dedicated news section. And then maybe I could bring them in later. We're still playing with it. We're still, like, formulating the new thing. Because we're going to start having those come out on the podcast feeds. So I'm trying to kind of adjust how I do the stream, because like I still love doing the streams, of course, but I also need like that dedicated section that has news that then we can repurpose and put out there. Hank Taft, thank you for a subscription. Harbarakis, thank you for the subscription on Twitch. Appreciate you. Talk about episode 3. I haven't watched it. I have not watched it. Yeah, actually, you're right, Kendall. She is kind of bad, for sure. But kind of like, other than that, though, I mean, Aubrey Plaza's cool, but like, I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping the next Agatha episode's better. I didn't love episode 4. But yeah, the show's fine. My fear with the projects that were greenlit in a low budget and blew up is the sequel, get more money, and then the studio interference, so I'm worried about X-Men 97. I think that's fair, brother. I think that is a fair concern to have. Hopefully, they realize what's at stake. And remember, too, that we had a lot of same fears, even with Season 1, just because Marvel had been Marvel. MCU was MCUing. Right? So, yeah, we'll see. Harbor's Khakis says, Josh, longtime YouTube follower, good stuff. Can't wait for Unity. Appreciate you, brother. We're cooking. We're cooking with Unity. What pup is that? That's Leia. That's Luke. So they're just chilling. I'd travel the Witch's Road for Monica. Same. Harboring Khakis? Maybe. I think it's like Harbaugh's Khakis. They look the same. How do you tell them apart? Leia is a little smaller, and they're boys and girls. Yeah. Did the demon scare you though? No, I thought the demon was like okay. Like, to me, episode 4 of Agatha unfortunately just shows, like, the musical part. To me, I will always compare those scenes to Legion. And Legion, I mean, it's just like doing shit at a different level. Like, that musical scene in Agatha was just pretty mid. You know? It was the best episode? I don't think so. Look, if you're gonna do a musical scene, elevate. Like, I don't like it when you're like, oh, let's just make this a musical scene, and then it's just a scene. Like, no, you gotta elevate. Use the form. Give me subtext that otherwise can't be there through the form of musical. And, like, that shit did not happen in Agatha, I'll tell you that. Yeah. But it's still cool. It doesn't, like, break the show for me. It's just fine. It's just fine. A demon with teats? I didn't even notice the teats. Did it have teated? Did it have teats? The demon was okay. It was fine. It's I also felt like they were kind of obvious with the reveal for Aubrey Plaza. Like, a little too obvious. You know? But, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Okay, everybody. Gonna get on out of here. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. No stream tomorrow, but we'll have videos. Should have a video for you today and probably a video tomorrow as well. Wednesday, we'll be back at it. Wednesday night, we will be beginning our deep dive on Null, the symbiote god. So that's gonna be cool. Thursday, we got to figure out what we're watching. Did it get us banned from Twitter? Yes. Are we still gonna watch stuff together? Yes. So we got to do that Thursday night. And we'll talk about that, and then we'll be back at it on Friday as well. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. Smokey Kenobi, I seen to. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Delta Dan, thanks for the gifted membership. Rossi, thanks for the sticker. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys. I missed you guys, man. Maybe since I don't have Twitter, I'll just stream more. You know, I need the attention. So maybe I'll just stream more. Subathon every day? That doesn't even make no. More streams as he leaves. Exactly. See, keep him wanting more. Oh, man. But, Leon, these are long streams. What have we been going? Like 4 hours today? Just about 4 hours? Just about. Pretty much. If you round up twice. All right, everybody. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here. Another happy landing. Remember, open up your third eye and wash out your stinking butt. Oh.